set to be sworn in at sharp 11:27 a.m. as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh once again. Remember, this will be the fourth time that Chandrababu Naidu will be elected as the CM of Andhra Pradesh. Naidu's oath-taking will be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, even Union Minister JP Nadda. Along with Naidu, JSP Chief Pawan Kalyan will be sworn in as the Deputy CM of Andhra Pradesh. The event will also be attended by mega celebrities like Rajnikant, Pawan Kalyan's brother, and superstar Chiranjeevi, Allu Arjun, and many more. Ministers to be taking oath along with Chief Minister Naidu-elect as well. As far as the cabinet is concerned, 3 cabinet berths to be given to the Jana Sena, whereas 1 cabinet berth will be given to the BJP, 21 to be given to TDP at the moment. But big day for Andhra Pradesh, as we all know that all the hotels in Vijayawada have also been completely booked for this grand swearing in that will be taking place today. Remember, all of high profile celebrities from Tollywood, particularly from Indian cinema, the likes of Rajnikant, Allu Arjun, Chiranjeevi will all be in attendance. What's more is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be in attendance at this oath-taking ceremony. Remember, it was only yesterday that Chandrababu Naidu had been elected at an NDA meet in the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly, and it was over there that Pawan Kalyan was also elected as the Deputy CM elect for Andhra Pradesh. And today is going to be another big day where we will finally see the government shape up of Andhra Pradesh. Let's quickly go across to Pallavi, who will be sharing the details with us. Pallavi, before we deep dive into what the cabinet berths are going to look like, this is the way the entire swearing-in ceremony is now shaping up with the arrangements happening. What do you make of how grand this ceremony is looking like? Because remember, it's not just Prime Minister, but also the who's who of Tollywood also in attendance.
Yes, absolutely. Akanksha, what a comeback. I mean, you know, there were times when people had written Chandrababu Naidu off, wondering whether it's Jagan Mohan Reddy's time. And many thought this could have been possibly a tough election for him. But clearly he's made a complete comeback, and in terms of the cabinet, of course, he's kept all the caste equations in mind, and in a state like Andhra Pradesh particularly, that very much matters. But when you see those grand pictures and you see, in fact, right from the top, the central leadership, leading from the Prime Minister to the Home Minister, Mr. JP Nadda, all of them being present there, this is yet another slice of what coalition politics or coalition dharma is all about. Very clearly, the messaging which is going across is that the Prime Minister wants to think that we are all in it together, conciliatory rather than confrontationist. And all those naysayers, particularly from the opposition parties, who kept on insisting on the fact that Chandrababu Naidu would perhaps not be comfortable working with the Prime Minister, and this is a coalition which may not last long. I don't think the pictures are quite telling that story. The Prime Minister has made it a point to attend, as the senior ministers have, to make the point that he matters, Chandrababu Naidu matters, and this is not just his win, it is something which belongs to the entire NDA leadership.
You know, what also caught my attention, Pallavi, yesterday was what Chandrababu Naidu had to say when he was addressing the NDA meet yesterday. He said that this government should not be about demolition and divisive politics, rather it should be about development.
Absolutely. In fact, that's going to be an important pitch if we are going to talk about Andhra Pradesh for Mr. Chandrababu Naidu as well. He had walked away out of the NDA on the grounds of a special status for Andhra Pradesh. Word is still out on whether that's really going to be happening. But certainly what he's going to be looking at for the center, from the center, is a big bang reforms and also adequate amount of funds, especially for the capital. And therefore, for him to prove that Chandrababu Naidu means development is going to be his big challenge and also his hallmark. He's already accused Jagan Mohan Reddy of depleting the exchequer, that there has been no development on the ground, there has been more bluster. But just to step back in time, the first man who actually brought digitization, who understood what IT was all about and made Hyderabad an IT hub was actually Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. I think that was also saw a very huge growth period in Andhra Pradesh, several job opportunities, and we know many people, young, old, seniors, all of them who are working in the IT sector in Andhra Pradesh. He wants to bring back those days, to use his words. So development mantra, and that's one reason why he found sense in going back to the NDA.
That's a very interesting point that you made, Pallavi. In fact, he was also addressed as the CEO of Andhra Pradesh. Pallavi, going to request you to continue staying with us. Let me also bring in Swastika, who's currently stationed live in Vijayawada right now. Swastika, we are being told that all the hotels have been completely booked. There's been a lot of beautification of the roads. Give us a sense of what the arrangements are looking like just ahead of the ceremony. Remember, in roughly 25 minutes from now, the ceremony should be beginning.
Well, the ceremony is happening at Gannavaram IT Park and we are just about a kilometer away, and that's because there is heavy VVIP movement and I won't be able to communicate with you otherwise because of the jammers. But I want to explain to you what is exactly the scene on the road. It's complete pandemonium. On both sides, this is supposed to be a green channel for the VVIP movement, but as it turns out, even the common pedestrians and even the commuters have congested this road, making it very difficult for them, for the VVIP movement also to go across. In fact, we've been walking for over 2 kilometers now to be able to give this live. And as you can see, there is excitement here. Majority of them are Pawan Kalyan supporters, all young and old here, because he's taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. The first ever cabinet post in the state government of Andhra Pradesh under Chandrababu Naidu. But let me just explain the contours of the new government. Chandrababu Naidu is the
all
Chief
right,
Minister of
Swastika, I'm
Andhra
so
Pradesh
sorry to
and
interrupt you there. Only for the benefit of all our viewers who are tuning in, important to give them a bird's eye view of what's happening right now in Vijayawada, as those visuals are live that are streaming on your screen right now. As you can see, JP Nadda also accompanied by Home Minister over there, a host of VIP attendees. We've seen several of them from the Indian cinema also representing, in fact, representing Tollywood at the swearing-in ceremony of Chandrababu Naidu. We saw Chiranjeevi, actor Rajnikant also shake hands with the Home Minister just a while ago. Let's quickly go back to Swastika. Swastika, please go ahead.
Well, yes, you're going to expect all the A-list stars. In fact, this is the unity of two big families. One is the Konidela family, which is Pawan Kalyan's family. Chiranjeevi is the elder brother of Pawan Kalyan, and the Naidu family, which is the NTR family. In fact, both of them coming to power here after a sweeping victory. At 11:27 a.m. is when we can see Chandrababu Naidu officially taking the oath as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. He is going to be the fourth-term Chief Minister. This is his fourth swearing-in. He was the Chief Minister twice back in United AP, and this is his second term as the Chief Minister after the bifurcation. In fact, I want to talk a little bit more about Chandrababu Naidu's cabinet because that's a lot in focus. 24 ministers will be taking oath with Chandrababu Naidu. I pardon for the lot of inconvenience around me because it's complete pandemonium here, but I hope I'm loud and clear. There are 24 ministers who will be taking oath. 3 of them are women. Majority of them are first-timers. In fact, you have TG Bharat. You have some of the names which have featured here are all, majority of them are newcomers. It's a mix of old and new. Pawan Kalyan obviously will be the Deputy Chief Minister. Nara Lokesh Chandrababu Naidu is set to take oath as well. And in all probability, there is a huge buzz that he may be given the IT minister. He was also a minister when Chandrababu Naidu was the Chief Minister of the state back in 2014. The other prominent names that stand out for me are key leaders from Jana Sena being given cabinet berth, and not just that, there is only one BJP leader who is going to be taking oath along with Chandrababu Naidu, and that is Satya Kumar Yadav. He's somebody who's closely worked with Venkaiah Naidu. In fact, yesterday there was a meeting between Amit Shah as well as Chandrababu Naidu at Naidu's residence. JP Nadda was also there as part of that meeting, and the discussions about the final contours of the cabinet have been decided. Back to you.
All right, on that note, let me also bring in Pallavi. Pallavi, we are also learning, since Swastika mentioned the kind of representation in Chandrababu Naidu's entire cabinet. She's spoken about how women are also representing. Important to also highlight how caste equation has also been consciously kept in mind in this cabinet. All right, we'll try and reconnect with Pallavi's audio over there, but important to highlight that there's in fact a conscious decision being made in terms of how to keep the caste equation in place, because remember, we also have the Kamu and the Kapu community. We know that Chandrababu Naidu in fact is somebody who's a known face as far as the Kapu community is also concerned. We are seeing how Pawan Kalyan's also one of the leading faces. Let's quickly go across to Payal, who's joining me right now. Payal, what we're seeing right now on our screens is a show of strength, not just to the TDP but the entire NDA. What does it speak, all those visuals, the kind of attendance that we are seeing, not just of people from the Indian cinema or high profile politicians from the NDA, but also the common man who has thronged this venue today in full force?
Well, absolutely. It's not just a great occasion for the TDP, given the fact that they came back to power after 5 years of the misrule, as they call, of Jagan Mohan Reddy. In fact, the slate was plundered, is what the BJP and the TDP has been saying, with Jagan Mohan Reddy, spending crores and crores of rupees on giving freebies. But as far as this is concerned, it's a huge occasion for the BJP itself as well. Never in the recent past has BJP been able to win any seats in Andhra Pradesh. So this time around, they won 3 Lok Sabha seats from Andhra Pradesh for the BJP, and also a number of MLA seats also. So that's something which is a huge occasion for them. The NDA has come into power as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, party's national president JP Nadda, Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari are some of the leaders from the BJP who will be coming as well. We already saw Ramdas Athavale also coming in. Invitations have been sent to a lot of leaders from the NDA. Eknath Shinde had also confirmed that he will be present in the oath-taking ceremony. It's a huge occasion, given the fact that there are people who rallied behind Chandrababu Naidu, while many political pundits wrote him out and said that he's close to 74. In fact, he's 6 months elder to Prime Minister Narendra Modi in terms of age, that his chapter would be over as well. But the people of Andhra thought otherwise, and they gave him an overwhelming majority. If I'm not wrong, Akansha, this is the highest majority by any party across Andhra. 163 out of 175 is a huge mandate, and probably Chandrababu Naidu could have done without support from any other political party, but both in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Assembly. But of course, it is a pre-poll alliance, and he wants to in fact take the development of the state of Andhra Pradesh forward. He is somebody who is considered to be a great visionary, somebody who was responsible for the IT revolution in the United Andhra that you saw decades ago as well.
Right.
He wants to in fact bring back Andhra to its glory. Andhra was once known as the entrepreneur hub of the country.
And when you're talking about bringing back Andhra Pradesh's glory, there's a conscious effort now being made by the NDA to keep the caste dynamics in mind. I think perhaps that's a lesson that they are learning after their loss, especially in Uttar Pradesh. Let me bring in Pallavi on that note. Pallavi, I take that question again with you in terms of the representation of caste in the entire Andhra cabinet today, which we'll also be witnessing.
Well, but also 24 ministers who are going to be sworn in. He certainly in his first round has tried to ensure that all the caste combinations are kept intact, from the Kapu caste to the backward caste, the OBCs, Dalits, all of them are adequately represented. And in any state of India, most of them, especially if you look at the states like Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, Karnataka, these are very, very potent factors, and he certainly would want to take everyone along. But having said that, he's also tried to placate everyone. Of course, the Jan Sena party finds its way through into the cabinet. No surprises there. One, of course, minister also from the BJP, and as Payal was pointing out, the BJP makes its entry into Andhra Pradesh, and that is also a very significant achievement as far as the BJP would look at his down south mission. But as Chandrababu Naidu takes charge once again of Andhra Pradesh, huge expectations from him, and what really everyone would be looking for is a government which is progressive, which is reformist, which actually can generate jobs. And as they claim, unlike what Jagan Mohan Reddy did, he is going to ensure that there are more and more job generation takes place. And also Hyderabad, which we were just talking about a short while back, which is an IT hub, but there are now rivals come up. Bengaluru is also trying to emerge as one. Hyderabad wants to recapture that space once again. I remember during Chandrababu Naidu's previous tenure, he was also the first one who used to do those video conferencing with all the district magistrates, making the point that, you you have a digitization. That footprint is very important. So he was, as you correctly pointed out, Akanksha, called the CEO of Andhra Pradesh. He brought in that corporate culture.
Right.
That is exactly what I think that Chandrababu Naidu is going to try and do once again. And also, that is, I guess most of the people are also going to looking forward to, especially the younger ones.
Absolutely. Swastika, if I could bring you in on the kind of development that now Chandrababu Naidu is expected to bring, especially to Amravati, not to forget the Polavaram irrigation projects, and of course the river connectivity is another crucial aspect that will be now sort of gaining the attention of the current government. But what is it that perhaps Chandrababu Naidu will now be hoping to provide that perhaps Jagan Mohan could not?
Well, since we're talking about Amravati, I've done several ground reports from that region, and one I can say is that it was an abandoned area. In fact, there are buildings that are half-built, roads that have cracked up. It's only until after Naidu came to power that I can see swarms of JCBs now clearing the forest areas. And while developing Amravati remains a crucial point for Chandrababu Naidu is because when the bifurcation happened, all the resources were pulled in as far as Hyderabad is concerned. It was the one big capital for both Telangana and Andhra during United Andhra Pradesh's time. That's why major chunk of investments went there. When the bifurcation happened, Chandrababu Naidu had a similar vision and he wanted to turn the green pastures of Amravati. It's just vast barren land as of now. He wanted to turn all of that into an IT hub. He wanted to come up literally with a big city from the scratch, but that could not happen because in 2019 Jagan Mohan Reddy swept to power, and after Jagan Mohan Reddy's party came to power, he envisaged three capitals. Practically all the development work that had in fact begun during Naidu's time had completely halted. But now, with the change in governance, even though today is when the official oath-taking ceremony is taking place, land prices in Amravati have skyrocketed. The farmers there who had given up their lands and were given about 1450 square yards in return are expecting at least 10 crores for 1 acre of land there. And in fact, they have set plans in motion to turn both residential and commercial venture as far as Amravati is concerned. I visited Amravati on a day when I met with several investors from Hyderabad and in fact from Odisha as well, who had come here to look for prospects. So in conservative estimates, land prices have skyrocketed to up to 110%, and that's the kind of hope that they have as far as Chandrababu Naidu's government is concerned. But it's not going to be as easy as it's said. Not only will they have to be bringing in investments from all parts of the world, from across the countries, because there's a lot of internal competition between Telangana, between Karnataka. Now with Chandrababu Naidu being called as the CEO, CM, it's going to be a tough fight for the other states as well. But definitely developing Amravati from the scratch, which is a complete ghost town as we speak right now, is going to require huge amounts of funds, and that is going to be a big challenge. The other big talking point that TDP is constantly focusing on is creation of jobs. Jagan Mohan Reddy lost the elections because he doled out a lot of money, 4 lakh crores to the welfare scheme and beneficiaries, but in turn failed to get in investments to generate revenue for the state and failed to create jobs. Only Sachivalaya Secretariat jobs were created.
Swastika, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but BJP's Tamil Sai Soundarajan is currently interacting, as we can see on our screens, with the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. On the right side of your screens, we just showed you visuals of actor Rajinikanth also over there being greeted by many. Chiranjeevi also over there, very much in attendance. Let's also go across to Payal. Payal, if you could give us a sense of what the VVIP attendees list looks like, how much of New Delhi will be seeing today in Vijayawada?
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be gracing the occasion. That is something which Chandrababu was really hoping that Prime Minister will be able to do, because Prime Minister has an upcoming overseas tour as well. But not only here, Prime Minister, but of course Home Minister Amit Shah and Party President JP Nadda arrived here last night. He in fact met Chandrababu Naidu. Both of them met Chandrababu Naidu at his residence along with his family as well. And you can expect Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, several Chief Ministers of the NDA. You saw Union Minister Ramdas Athavale also a short while ago. you probably saw, you will probably see in some time Nitin Gadkari also reach there. It's a double celebration for the BJP today, because just after Amravati and just after Andhra Pradesh, all these leaders will then head to Odisha, where of course they're going to form a government for the very first time in a long time as well. So it's a huge celebration for them as well. Of course, a lot of VIPs and a lot of VVIPs, because remember the Telugu states are known for their big film stars. You have got Rajnikant who's there, of course. You'll have, Mr. Chiranjeevi, his son Ram Charan. They are family members. They are Chiranjeevi's family member to Pawan Kalyan. He's Pawan Kalyan's brother. So they will also be expected to be there. Of course, you have Mahesh Babu, who's also related to Jay Gallav from the TDP.
Absolutely.
As well. So they
in
are
fact,
all
as
expected
we
to be
speak
there as well.
right
So a lot
now,
of
the
VIP
former Vice President of India, Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu, is currently hobnobbing with the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, also the Union Health Minister, Mr. J.P. Nadda. We have visuals of Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu also arrive at the swearing-in of Chandrababu Naidu, which should in fact be beginning in roughly 11 minutes from now. Swastika, if I could bring you in on the influence that currently Jan Sena is wielding, not just over the new government but in the state itself, something that has also been reflected in the decision to appoint Pawan Kalyan as the Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra.
That's right. In fact, Janasena is forming the government along with Chandrababu Naidu on the merit of 21 MLAs that they won in this state and 2 MPs. Pawan Kalyan obviously is going to be the Deputy Chief Minister, as we've been consistently reporting, but along with Pawan Kalyan there will be 2 other members of the Janasena who will be taking the oath. Narendra Manohar is a close aide of Pawan Kalyan, MLA from Tenali, and the other one is Mr. Kandula. In fact, he's this is a very big achievement, I would say, for Janasena, because if you look at the vote bank, they have successfully consolidated the entire Kapu vote bank, and that was essentially the purpose of this alliance. When Pawan Kalyan met with Chandrababu Naidu in the jail when he was in fact there, it related to the skill development scam case, he came out and said that he does not want the vote to get split. So Kamma voters from Chandrababu Naidu and the whole consolidation of Kapu voters, which was very unthinkable earlier on, but happened in this particular election, and that's why their consolidation is the result of which Pawan Kalyan is being made literally the second man in command as far as the state cabinet is concerned. East and West Godavari, these are the areas which are considered to be the heartland of the Kapu vote bank, and there was a unanimous victory for the Janasena, and that was very crucial for this NDA alliance. 164 MLAs strong out of the 175 MLAs. They've reduced Jagan Mohan Reddy to just 11 seats, and that was the landslide victory that this caste arithmetic that this NDA alliance got it right sort of helped them come to power with such a huge mandate.
Right, very interesting that you talked about that caste dynamics, but also important to highlight who will be the new ministers who will be swearing in from the TDP particularly. If you could share the names with us as well, Swastika.
T.G. Bharat, he is the son of former Rajya Sabha MP. In fact, he's representing from Kurnool. The face of the youth really for the TDP is actually Nara Lokesh. In fact, he is the one who held Padayatras, Yuva Galam Yatra. In fact, this was a many...
Let's have a word on Nara Lokesh, in fact, Swastika, because remember, initially when the TDP, in fact, was now expected to form government in Andhra Pradesh, there was a lot of talk about how Nara Lokesh, in fact, may step out of the state and be elevated to a more national level in the country's cabinet. But having said that really did not happen, and he's also gone on record in that exclusive conversation he had with Zaka. He's gone on record to say that I'm very much devoted to my state and I continue to be a part, and I would in fact continue to do good work for my state as well.
Well, in fact, we've had this conversation earlier and it was never really a proposal. Nara Lokesh was always supposed to be relegated to the state of Andhra Pradesh, at least at this juncture, and there are 2 reasons. One, he is a first-time MLA from Mangalagiri. He's won with a huge margin, 94,000 votes this time around. But this is essentially his first victory, and it comes on the backdrop of an intense image-building exercise that he personally underwent. He went on a 3,000-kilometer Padayatra, traversed across the state to put himself as the heir apparent of Mr. Chandrababu Naidu and connect with the grassroots workers of TDP. So that worked and he won Mangaligiri. The second aspect is he was always designated to be part of the Chandrababu Naidu cabinet. Back in 2014 when Naidu was the chief minister, Nara Lokesh was an MLC elected from Mangaligiri and he was the IT minister in Chandrababu Naidu's cabinet. So there is a huge buzz that Nara Lokesh will perhaps be given the IT portfolio once again, though I can't confirm that on record as of now. But definitely his name being as the third name listed in that list goes on to signify that there's going to be a key portfolio that will be handed out to Nara Lokesh. More importantly, for Lokesh, he has to focus on the state because it's not just the 5-year effort that they have to focus on. In order to sustain themselves, to come back to the power once again, TDP needs to keep its flock together, and the heir apparent to Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is Nara Lokesh.
All right, let me now bring in Payal. Payal, there's a lot of talk about how the bifurcation blues continue to haunt Andhra Pradesh even after a decade of bifurcation, and that is what makes today's swearing-in ceremony in terms of timing even more significant. Because remember, as far as Jagan Mohan Reddy is concerned, he's always talked about how the centre was not providing adequate assistance. He would make those repeated attempts to come to New Delhi asking for funds, but would in fact go back empty-handed. What can Chandrababu Naidu now expect to be in favour, considering, the BJP is always tom-tommed about its mantra of having a double-engine ki sarkar. Now we have the NDA sarkar over here. What can one expect after a decade of bifurcation, one that's being marked this year itself?
Well, to talk about 2018, that is the reason that Naidu actually withdrew from the NDA government, because the special status was not given. And Jagan Mohan Reddy promised special status but did not deliver and kept on taking funds for granted, kept on doling freebies. So there's a lot of task for Naidu up ahead as well. Number one, he has to in fact ensure that the revenue deficits are fulfilled with. He has to go ahead and get investments and funds like Swastika was reporting. And most importantly, they have understood very clearly that the centre cannot really give them special category status. They have to actually get funds through various schemes, etc. That is something which Chandrababu Naidu is hopeful of doing, and that's the reason Ram Mohan Naidu's presence in the Union Cabinet will make a lot of difference. Ram Mohan Naidu yesterday was telling us that he will in fact be using his presence in the Union Cabinet, speaking to all his party colleagues and getting multiple initiatives done for Andhra Pradesh as well, because there is a huge task ahead for the TDP government, TDP, BJP, Janasena government, to in fact fulfill the unfulfilled aspirations of the people of the state. Naidu is of course a visionary. He's been somebody who has a lot of ideas as well, but implementation on ground will be very, very critical. Development has not happened. Jobs have not been given for the last 5 years. That is something which they'll have to of course do with, and it's wrong for Jagan Mohan Reddy to say that no money was given by the centre. I remember very clearly that a package of 10,000 crores was given last year by the centre to the Jagan Mohan Reddy government as part of the Andhra's unfulfilled promises as well. But what he's basically done is he's damaged the economy in such a way by giving out these freebies, by not, making any development pitch forward. And that is something which has actually hurt the state of Andhra Pradesh. So
I'd like to
there's
bring in Swastika on that note. When you're talking about the damage done to the economy, is it just Jagan Mohan Reddy who did that damage? Because Swastika, the reports are indicating a loss worth 1.3 lakh crore rupees was borne by Andhra Pradesh soon after bifurcation. How bad has it been ever since that happened? Swastika, can you hear me?
I request you to repeat your question,
No,
please.
since we are talking about the damage done to Andhra's economy, important to also highlight what the bifurcation brought with it. It also brought the whole liability of losses worth 1.3 lakh crore rupees. And then, there's the whole bite into the argument that was being made over there by Payal right now, when she's talked about how Jagan Mohan Reddy also took money for freebies, which also was, as far as the promises were concerned, they were not really delivered on ground level. How much has Andhra Pradesh in fact suffered ever since the bifurcation happened?
Well, if you look at the expenses towards welfare schemes, it's about 4 lakh crores. That's the conservative figure. But compared to that, the revenue generation is half. And this is by the report given by the RBI itself, from the finance ministry itself that has come. But in terms of the money, 1.5 lakh crores is the rough estimate that the bifurcation dues are for Andhra Pradesh. How is it going to be solved? What are the categories for it? That is being considered and will be up for deliberation at a much later stage. But to break it down in simple layman terms, at this juncture, when the bifurcation happened, when Naidu walked out of the cabinet of the NDA, the whole focus was special category status. But this time around, they in fact said that they managed to get special package from the centre, but obviously that's not enough and they would be asking for more funds. The word here is Amravati. To develop a capital city from the scratch, not only will investments be brought in from all parts of the world, because as Naidu, remember, had visited Singapore, he's even spoken to different South Asian countries to pump in investments here. That's how here. And apart from that, that's being their individual strategy. But as far as state to centre relation is concerned, to have the completion of that's one of their key promises. In the next 2 years, they will need funds from centre. More importantly, the key word that the TDP government here is focusing on is creation of jobs. 20 lakh jobs, I beg your pardon.
Right.
20 lakh jobs in the next 5 years. That's a very big promise that TDP has. In fact, to create an ecosystem for it, not only will that be an individual effort from the state, but also centre. And that's why the centre union cabinet, they were not much focused on it in terms of their cabinet positions. Rather, they're very satisfied, I would say. But as far as the state development is concerned, they're heavily dependent on the centre for funds, and that's going to be very important. That's going to be a decisive factor and the plank on which Naidu's governance will be judged on for the next 5 years.
And when you talk about that plank on which Naidu's government is going to be judged on, is of course going to also include the deliverables on ground level. Payal, if I could bring you in, because you know, anti-incumbency in Indian elections when it comes to assembly elections is not rare, but the scale of defeat for the YSRCP has been massive if you especially compare it with 2019.
Well, scenario was entirely different 5 years ago, given the fact that in 2014 to 2019, Naidu was the chief minister. But the people of Andhra Pradesh got fed up with his government and with his failure to fulfill the promises. And then Jagan Mohan Reddy got 151. So everybody thought that Jagan Mohan Reddy is going to be in a comfortable position, given the fact that he kept on rolling freebies to the common man as well. But the scenario was completely changed in 2024. When the reverse really happened for the TDP. They got 163 plus out of 175. It's a huge mandate, probably the highest mandate in the history of Andhra as well. So that's something, of course, people are waiting to see what deliverables are, what he's going to do, because, you know, to make promises is something else and to be able to deliver it is going to be something else as well. So Naidu is a hard bargainer. Every time that he would come to the centre during the Vajpayee government also, people knew that if Naidu is here in Delhi, he'll take something and go back as well. So he's a hard negotiator in that respect. Of course, an MOS is also there from his party, who's part of the union government. He's been given the portfolio of rural development and a couple of other things as well, which Naidu is going to be hoping that they would be able to make a case out of. But you know, the basic point will be to give the basics to the people. They would want power, they would want jobs, they would want basics in life available to them, and they are not interested in freebies anymore. That's the message which seems to be coming out very loud and clear. But you know, last time around when Jagan Mohan Reddy won the election, Akanksha, it was at the back of the support of the women, and the same women have now voted for Chandrababu Naidu. So a greater sense of responsibility with great power is something which Naidu will be expected to handle this time
Absolutely, very much agree with you, Swastika. That's a very valid point being made by Payal over there. That's why I want to ask you how this entire alliance between the TDP, the JSP, even the BJP made it a bipolar race when it came to the YSRCP, because you very rightly mentioned that they managed to in fact tap into the caste dynamics as well as far as the Kapu and the votes are concerned. Not to forget, the swing factor over here was that of the female voters, which as Payal was rightly pointing out, have chosen to vote for a Chandrababu Naidu and not a Jagan Mohan Reddy this time.
Well, that's right. And this was something that even I had picked up during our several ground reports here, because women last time had voted in huge mandate for Jagan Mohan Reddy. There was also a 10% swing, and Jagan went on to win 151. That was a historic mandate that he had. But this time around, it is not just welfare politics. Jagan Mohan Reddy was heavily banking on his welfare scheme. He knew that the certain sections of the population will not vote for him. Typically, the urban crowd, they've never been in his favor. But he did not expect, and that's why there was an admission even from Jagan Mohan Reddy while he was, leaving officially. He said that I did not expect